Continuing with the discussion of the impermissible usage of the tongue. And at the moment we've been looking at backbiting and how evil that is in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So today what we're going to look at is where the Sharia has permitted the speaking in respect of somebody else behind their back. So where has the Sharia given allowances for that? Before we start that topic, I read something very interesting just before Fajr, that one sheikh, he's with his son and they wake up for tahajjud and qiyam, and there are other people present as well. So they performed, the father and the son, the sheikh and his son, they performed their qiyam, the tahajjud prayers. And the son turns around to the father and says, that look at them, none of them have woken up to even read 2 rakats. So the Shaykh said to the son, it would have been better for you to stay asleep than to speak negatively about them. It would have been better for you to have stayed asleep with them than to have woken up, performed the qiyam, but then speak negatively about them behind their back. So you can see that the mashayikh, they understood the severity of speaking. So where are some of those instances where the Sharia permits speaking behind somebody's back? The golden rule, before we look at the instances or situations where it's permissible, the golden rule that one has to understand is that even where the Sharia permits speaking about someone behind their back, the intention can never be to belittle that person. The intention can never be to humiliate that person. The intention can never be that the reason why you're speaking about this person behind their back is to humiliate them and bring them down. If that's the intention, even if the reason why is justifiable, but it becomes haram because of the reason of humiliation and belittlement. So that has to be understood. So what are some of the instances where it becomes permissible? Number one, if the intention is to stop some type of munkar from happening, something wrong, and the intention is for that wrong to not exist. Therefore, I gave an example this morning, but I after Dhuhr, but I mixed up the names. There's an incident that Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Umar passed by Uthman radiallahu ta'ala or Talha radiallahu ta'ala, one of the two. And he said salam, but he didn't hear a response back. So then he approached Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala, and he said that this particular Sahabi I passed. So he's speaking about the Sahabi, but there's no malice inside there. He's just saying that salam, he's meant to respond, but he didn't respond. So Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala then approached the Sahabi in question and resolved the issue. Also it's mentioned about Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu ta'ala that in his time of Khilafah, one of his governors, something had happened where he had appointed him somewhere else in Sham. And so someone came and reported that incident to Umar radiallahu ta'ala. So Umar radiallahu ta'ala wrote a letter explaining why he considered what this person was doing was incorrect. But what's interesting is that Umar radiallahu ta'ala didn't say to the person who brought the news that you're not allowed to do that. Why? Because if the intention is to stop a wrong, then it's permissible. But again, it cannot be done with the niyyah of belittling and humiliating the person in question. There has to be a sincerity in why you're doing it. There has to be a truthfulness in your heart that you want the betterment of the person that you're speaking about. Not you want some harm to come to them. If that's the intention, then that becomes haram. But if your intention is that you want good to come from it, then there is permissibility inside there. That's the first instance. Number two, the fuqaha, they write that if you have to seek a fatwa in particular about a particular incident that involves people, so to then question the mufti so for example, maybe if it's a brother, your own personal brother, and you have to say, my brother did this, or my sister, or my wife, or my husband, then it becomes possible. And there's evidence from this from the Prophet ﷺ himself. One Sahabiya, Hind, she asked the Prophet ﷺ that in Abu Sufyan is a, and it's in the books of hadith, she says that Abu Sufyan is very tight with money. Rajulun shahi. And he doesn't give enough for me and my children. So Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, is it okay if I take from him what I need without him knowing? So, and the point being is, in this hadith, Hind, she mentions the name of Abu Sufyan with obviously a characteristic that nobody wants that shared about them. But she had to seek the fatwa from the Prophet ﷺ. What do I do? Because he is so, and it's a sahabi, so she can say it's not befitting for us, but just repeating her words, that he doesn't give enough money for me and my children. What am I supposed to do? Is it okay that I take from him without him knowing? But again, just that amount that I need. So the Prophet ﷺ actually responded, and he said that خُذِي مَا يَكْفِيكِ وَوَلَدِكِ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, that yes, you're then allowed to take what suffices for you and your child without being excessive about it. There are women listening as well. Don't come back to me afterwards. I'm just relating a hadith to you from the Prophet ﷺ. Let's not get into the fiqh of it now. No questions right now. We'll deal with that after the. So the point being of the hadith is just this, that the name was taken in front of the Prophet ﷺ. And that to seek a fatwa with that intention becomes permissible. Okay? Does this still apply today? Let's not go into that right now. Number three. Okay, the third instance is to prevent evil harming another Muslim. And I explained this after Dhuhr, that for example, if you know someone is going to go into business with somebody, but this person is not good with money, you know that this person has done business with A, B, C, D, and E, taken their money and gone away. Now, bichara, the new person doesn't know this, but you know. I also gave the example in the afternoon of marriage. If someone is consulting you about a proposal for their daughter, about a boy, but you know there are certain things that are harmful in that person for this girl that's going to get married, or for the boy that's going to get married to a girl, then in those instances it becomes permissible, again, simply to prevent evil, shar, to reach this other Muslim, that they should be prevented from harm. Not belittling, not the intention can never be to make someone bad in society, to make them look evil in front. No. Only when does it become permissible? When the intention is to prevent harm reaching another Muslim. And number 4, the fuqaha, they write, is that if someone is an open sinner, and they're proud about their sin. So someone is a sinner and they're proud about their sin, then the fuqaha, they write that if he or she is not hiding their sin, then why do we need to? if they're boasting about this, it's a big issue. There are two types of people. One is the person who sins but feels bad, doesn't want everybody to know that they're sinning. The ulama, they write, inshallah, there is a lot of hope for this person, that one day they'll be able to make amends with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they'll make inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will change your life up. And there's the second type of person who's open about this and is boastful about it. Not only are they open, but they're like, so what? And this is very, very detrimental to Iman, because unlike the first person where there's a lot of their scope, Allah's mercy inshallah will envelop him one day. He'll make amends with Allah. This person, because of this attitude, the ulama, they say the chances are very slim. And so all of us, كُلُّ بَنِي آدَمَ خَطَّاء, all of us make mistakes and do sins. But always approach the sin with remorse. Even as you're committing it, think to yourself that, Ya Allah, I'm weak, help me. I don't want to do what I'm doing. Inshallah, Allah will put it into your heart one day to stop that sin. But if you approach that sin, then so what? I can do what I want. Then that is very dangerous. The ulama, they write that attitude usually leads to not just perpetual sin, but that attitude leads to Iman being taken away from that person. Because it's arrogance against Allah, saying to Allah that I don't really care, I can do whatever I want. So the two types of sinners, every one of us sins, be of the first category, where you feel bad about the sin. So the ulama, they write, if someone is boastful about their sin, and they're publicizing it on Instagram, then if you talk up to someone about it, then there's no harm inside that. There's no harm in disclosing of sin of somebody who's open about their sinning anyways. So these are the instances, and these are some of them, where the fuqaha, they mention that it's permissible to speak about somebody behind their back. But again, it cannot be with that intention of, except for the last, it cannot be to belittle them and make them humiliated in front of the person that you were speaking about. And even the last one, even the last category, it can't be to humiliate them, just that, look, this person's a sinner, you've got to stay away from them. In everything in Islam, what you do, it boils down to the intention behind why you're doing it. Everything. Whether it's good deeds or bad deeds. Allah looks at the intention. Everything is based upon that. That's why the hadith, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. You can be performing the best of deeds, but if the intention is corrupt, that deed is no longer valid in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whatever you do, even in the permissible instances of speaking about someone behind their back, make sure your intention is correct. Don't have the wrong intention, because then it still becomes haram. And as we've noticed throughout this discussion, that ghiba is very detrimental, very, very dangerous for our iman, and very, very, it's something that will be held accountable on the Day of Judgment for. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. These are the instances where it becomes permissible, again with the right intention. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to understand that, and again stay away from this evil sin as much as possible. وآخر الدعوة الحمد لله رب العالمين سبحان الله بحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت